are now live, and I have the awesome and amazing Ethan White joining us today. He is an amazing person to me. We have been knowing each other for a really, really long time. He's like soul family to me. I've watched him grow into this amazing young man that you see before me. And he's like around my kids' age. So it's just like so cool to see him, grow and become this amazing young man.
Oh,
So now, with that being said, Ethan, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. And of course, I'm going to put a link to your website and anywhere that people can find you in the description box once the live is done. So tell us about you, what you do, and where we can find you, and then we'll get into our topic of the day.
yeah. So my name's Ethan White. I'm a tarot reader. I've been a tarot reader since early 2018, but I really didn't start doing it professionally. And if there's an echo, I apologize. Let me turn my thing.
Okay.
But I've been a professional tarot reader since 2018, so I kind of got into tarot very, like, not abruptly, but like very suddenly, and it kind of just worked out from there. Like, it was not anything I planned to ever do, but the path kind of came to me, and I decided to go down that path. So I've been doing tarot ever since then. My business has gone through many different like eras, I guess, and changes throughout the years. But like, I really feel like I'm really finding stability with my tarot business in the last, I would say, since September, honestly. So I'm really like excited to I'm also announcing some events, like in-person events in May. So I'm really kind of evolving with my business. So and like at the second event that I'm gonna announce soon, we're gonna have like special drinks even. This is gonna be like legit, and like I'm kind of nervous about it. But anyway, yes, I'm a tarot reader. I'm into, also I like theater. I was like a theater kid growing up. I love acting. I'm not the best actor at all. Like, I'm not good at memorization. So like but I love improv and all that type of stuff. And I also love music. That's my hobby. I love listening to music. I do like singing. I'm not a good singer, but I do like to write music as well, or write lyrics. So I do like if outside of tarot, I am definitely a creative person, and I've always kind of been that way. Even before tarot, I've been into creative ventures since I was probably 9 years old, or probably even before then. So yeah.
Wow, all of that sounds so amazing. I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you that you're, moving forward in your endeavors in that way. That's so awesome. Thank you guys. Hello. Thank you guys who
Hey.
are joining the live and coming in. Hello. Glad to see you. Good evening. Okay, so we are going to be touching on a topic that is, it's heads up, it might be a little touchy, y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
It might be, it might be a little touchy type of topic, but I feel like it's important. And you're looking at two individuals. Look at us. We're amazing. We look amazing. Okay. And so, right. Okay. And, I've been a victim of bullying, and Ethan has also been a victim of bullying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, one thing, let's talk about what they consider bullying is. Bullying is actually a form of violence. People don't realize that. They don't, a lot of times people don't take bullying as serious as it should be.
Yeah.
And actually bullying is a form of aggressive violence behaviors against another person. And this can come in the form of physical abuse, verbal abuse, relational or social abuse, and even damaging of people's like property, things they have, and trying to destroy people's things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But people, for whatever reason, they don't take bullying as serious as it is. As a matter of fact, bullying is a large contributor to like suicidal attempts and also suicide. So when you are, when you've come out on the other side of experiencing like extreme bullying, you have to understand that you survived. Okay.
For sure.
Right, you're a survivor, you are strong, you made it. Because a lot of children, believe it or not, have attempted or committed suicide because of bullying, y'all. If you didn't know,
And
now you
young
know.
children too. Like I've heard stories of like 10-year-old children committing suicide from bullying. It's really sad.
It's very sad. Don't make me start crying.
Yeah, it's
It's
so
really sad because I even experienced that. When I was around the age, I actually attempted it twice. Once when I was 9, and once when I was 10.
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes, because it was so the bullying was so extreme. And not only was I experiencing extreme bullying at school, I didn't have that home support. I had no one to go to about
Yeah.
what I was experiencing, because not only was I going through bullying at school on a daily basis, I was coming home to very non-supportive, violent parents. So I was dealing with violence in the home and violence at school. And so it was really difficult for me to try to process all of that as a child, not knowing who to turn to, not having no type of support or help to get me through that. But glory to God, here I am today.
You made it, and you're doing better than
Right.
ever.
Thank you. Okay, so it says here suicide rates increased 30 to 36% from 2020 to 2023, which is about one death every 11 minutes.
Wow.
Hi from yeah, I know.
That's so
That's from the
terrible.
CDC. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi from Indonesia. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, that's so cool. They're like a day ahead of us, I think.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I think
Listen,
yeah, because
these
they're
type of
Australia.
things, right? And these type of things happen everywhere around the world. Okay.
Yeah.
And so these numbers are here. You can look at that. Bullying is also very rampant around the LGBT community as well. And it says here that actually suicide is one of the leading causes of death among people of all ages.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know that. It says here it has become a serious public health problem with a far-reaching impact. Okay.
I agree.
So consider yourself strong when you've made it through the effects of bullying. Okay.
For sure, because bullying is like actual trauma, and people don't understand that. But it's real. Like you could go to like therapy for like the impacts of being bullied. Like you could like dedicate like a whole therapy session to it. So it's like trauma for sure.
It is. It really is, and people don't understand. And see, that's why I'm glad we're doing this live about this topic, because we're bringing awareness to the fact that it is very serious. It's a real thing, y'all. It is trauma. It's trauma, just like when you go through violence and abuse in your homes and all the abuses that can happen to you. It is the same. It is trauma. So I experienced that myself, but we're going to move forward. We're going to talk to Ethan about his own experiences with bullying as well. Okay, so Ethan, how old were you when you first became a victim of bullying?
I would say so, and I'm gonna turn it down every time I talk because it echoes a little bit. So if I do that, I apologize.
Okay, yeah, sure.
But I've been I started getting bullied probably around 5 years old. So I was kind of bullied for two different things. So first off, I've been bullied for being gay for a long time, and also I had learning issues when I was younger. So I was in special ed, so I was bullied for that as well. So it was like two different topics I was kind of bullied on. So it's almost like I've had so many different experiences with being bullied, like literally so many that it's almost just like I can almost just laugh at it at this point because it's just like it's just like, oh my god. But I would say
yeah, I get
5
your
years
point, but
old.
you have to laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah, 5 years old because so I was held back in kindergarten because I was really young, and like I said, I was having learning issues. But I would get bullied in kindergarten the first time I went through kindergarten because I was like kind of the weakling a little bit. So I kind of was like the easy target. And I did make a friend, I remember, who was kind of a troublemaker. So I made my own little trouble, but I definitely was bullied. But the teacher, she actually had my brother as a student. My brother's way older, so she had him a long time ago. So she really kind of like latched on to me for a few different reasons, but I did have that protection, but I definitely started getting bullied around 5 years old, I would say.
That is so young, Ethan. Like, how do you really like? How do you remember that? Because I remember being 5, and it's like that was like supposed to be the easiest time of our lives, right?
Right.
We were in kindergarten and stuff, and I just remember coloring and wow. I mean, 5.
Yeah, and on top of that, like I had learning issues. Like I remember like really struggling. Actually, I got tested recently for learning disabilities, and I didn't get diagnosed with dyslexia, but they said, "Oh, we think you used to have dyslexia." Like there's signs of that. So I was struggling with like school and stuff, and then add on the bullying. That's like really hard to handle, especially like I remember like being depressed at like 5 or 6 years old over this stuff. So
what?
yeah, I just was so overwhelmed. Like my anxiety was so bad even back then.
Wow. That's something I did not know about you, Ethan. That's amazing that you got through all of that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that was just the start.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get into it. So, for how many years were you bullied?
Honestly, like I've had experiences where I was like bullied like last year even, so I can't even really fully say. So
Ethan, it's amazing that you brought that up because when I was contemplating about our topic, I said, it's some adults that's still getting bullied. Like it's adults that's out here bullying adults. Like
that happens in the workplace a lot. That's why I can't do like job. That's why I have to run my own business because I'm not dealing with that. I can't. It's literally like traumatic for me a little bit, and I'm still healing from it. So I don't want to deal with that. So
yeah, that's what we're gonna get into because it can affect you into adulthood for sure. And it seems like a lot of times we think it's just kids getting bullied, but like grown people be getting bullied too. And now it has transformed into like internet bullying, where it's especially for teenagers nowadays, the bullying is now online, where they're spreading rumors and posting pictures and, making up stuff about people that's really hurting people when you're doing
I dealt with that growing up, so I get that definitely.
Okay, I might give you a chance to talk about that. So, did you have a main bully? Like, because I did. I can tell. Okay, let me tell you my story about my main bully. Okay,
yeah.
I had a main bully, and she used to torture me like every day. I would see her coming. She'd have her little clique. I mean, literally, it's so weird because you would think this is the stuff that movies are made of, but this actually happened. Like I would see her, right? I would see her coming from afar and be like, "Oh Lord, here she come," with her crew, and she would come and she would size me up, and she was the type of young female. I mean, we were like 10 years old, 10, 11 years old, but she was this type, I don't know. She was very grown for her age, right? And she always had like the latest hairstyles and the name brand shoes and the clothes and stuff like that. And here I was, this like homely, child with
I doubt that.
No, I'm so serious. When I was that age, I had like the pigtail. I was so different. I ain't gonna lie, I looked at one of my class pictures and I had on a church dress. I had on a church dress while everybody
I like it though.
I love you, okay? Listen,
you rock any vibe.
Right. I had a church dress on and everybody else was in their FUBU and they jean shorts and their t-shirts, and I'm the only one sitting there with stockings on in a church dress. Okay. But I was definitely different. I can admit that. I knew I was different, but I just didn't know how to. I didn't have the confidence to work with that. I didn't have the confidence in how to handle that.
Yeah.
And she used to come up to me and be like, "Look at you." I mean, literally, she would be like, look at you," like a kid. She would say, "Eat your little pigtails and look at your Payless shoes." And she would just, yeah, she would size me up from head to toe almost every day. "You're so ugly. Look at you, and you're fat too." Because I was kind of chunky. And she would like, "Look, you're fat." I mean, she used to call me names and
That's so
tell me out.
nasty.
Yes, very nasty. And words create, right? Just like thoughts. That's why we do I ams, and I do
Yeah.
I ams every right. So when you keep hearing negative stuff being poured into you and never hearing anything positive about yourself, because I grew up in a household where we didn't say kind words to each other, we didn't hug, there was no "I love yous," there was no "you're an amazing kid and you got it going on" and all that stuff. No, I didn't hear that. So I was constantly hearing negative things about myself,
Yeah.
but I tried my best still and I still made it. But regardless of that, I actually was able to see her one day as an adult. And yes, yes. And if you want me to tell you that story, I can.
You should.
Okay. So at this point, I was an adult. I was older. I had my hair done, my nails done. I was looking fly. Yes, I was. I had my car. And I would never forget her because, like I said, for years, she would do this to me almost every day. And so I always knew what she looked like. I could never forget her look, right?
Yeah.
And so I get out the car and I see this hoopty car across from me, and there's a ton of people in it and smoke coming out the car. And I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, is that? Oh my God. So look, she gets out the car. And when I tell you, her hair was wild all over the place. And she was ashy, honey. Ashy from head to toe, honey. And then, and then, and then she had on some busted up shoes. I'm talking about with no shoestrings in them, dirt all over them. I said, so everything she did to me, everything she said to me, apparently,
flip.
Apparently it came back on her 10 times over. Okay. And I remember walking into the store thinking, "Are you going to speak to her?" And she didn't recognize me. Of course she didn't, because she probably would have assumed I would be like this ugly looking person or something, So I'm standing right beside her in the line. And I'm thinking, should I say something? Should I say something? But I just couldn't. I couldn't say anything. But I was like hoping she would like recognize me, but she didn't recognize me. But I was able to see that Miss Perfect, Miss Have It All Together, definitely couldn't hold on to that into her adult life. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, with that being said, did
you kind of got that clarity at least?
Yeah, because that's proof that karma is real. And no matter what age, when you consistently do something like that to somebody, it has to come back to you, especially when it affects that person, the way that it did affect me. But she wasn't my only bully at that. It's because, I don't know, it was just something about me. I don't know what it was. I think it was because I was too nice. I was very meek, and I was very quiet, and very sweet, and and I was the teacher's pet. And that's what they used to say, "You're the teacher's pet," because the teachers used to always call on me to help them do stuff and stuff like that. And you think you're so smart, because I used to always get honor roll and stuff like that. And they just couldn't stand that about me for
some reason. They were jealous.
Yeah, that's what it was. They was always trying to tear me down. And but that's what I went through for some years until I got out of elementary school. So for you, did you have a main bully?
Um, I did like at different time periods. Like there was like different bullies that kind of stick out in my mind, but I can't even really think of. Well, I would say there's one in high school in particular. It was a cousin and like or there were these cousins, like they both bullied me at different times, but they also kind of bullied me together too. So it was like a really weird kind of dynamic. Like the guy cousin started bullying me around like sixth grade or so. I think I met him in sixth grade because I didn't go to elementary school with him, but I think we like when all the elementary schools kind of came together in middle school. I think that's when I met him, and he was always in my choir class, and he was just taking it to take like a class or whatever, and he was always just making comments about me. And then in high school, he also was in my English class and like bullied me so bad that I had to kind of go to the guidance counselor about it actually because it just was getting so bad. And then the next year, I met his cousin, and we were actually cool at first. Like we had no issues, but we got into some stupid disagreement on Instagram or some really stupid high school drama. I think I started it, to be honest, but this girl took it so far. Like her and her whole group for months after would literally take pictures of me at lunch, like take paparazzi pictures of me. I'm not even kidding. And then they would like post them on Instagram, and I didn't see them, but people would like tell me like, yeah, they're posting this on Instagram. So it got really bizarre, honestly. Like I kind of felt like a celebrity in a way, but I'm just like, this is weird. Like I get like you don't like me, which is fine, but like it just was so stupid. Like we had a little
What was
tiff,
that
but
about, Ethan?
like why did she continue it for so long is the question.
What was that about?
It was like over some political disagreement or something. I don't even. It like literally just something really stupid. But then we were like cool. But then she just got so nasty, and she also was friends with this other, or she was friends with two other people that bullied me in the past as well. So it just was like a whole group. Their name, two of their names are Kenzie, and the other chick's name is McKenna. So it's just kind of like get some new names or something.
What was it that? Why were they targeting you? What was it that was making them target you?
I think it's because they already had like kind of like beef against me, and like I just was kind of like an easy target. I was kind of a loner. I'm like kind of different just naturally, I feel like. So I just feel like I was an easy target. I don't really know for sure, but I have run into them before, like outside of school. Like I think I saw them at Pride Fest because they are actually lesbians actually. Actually they're dating each other. Two of the bullies are like dating each are engaged to each other. So
a whole drama, okay?
And they're both Virgos as well.
Oh my gosh. Like the negatives of a Virgo can be so harsh, okay? Just like highly critical of others and judgmental. So yeah, wow. Okay.
And she was kind of a trouble, like the one that was taking pictures, she was kind of troubled in general. Like I remember one time she was like, she ran away from school and then fell in the mud or something and got arrested. It was bizarre. I don't even know. That's kind of funny. Okay. I'm sorry. But
that's okay. You know what? It's okay. I'm glad that we can laugh about it now, you know, instead of be hurting in tears, because of course we know that we went through extreme pain over being bullied, but we've obviously healed a great deal. You've healed a great deal when you can laugh about it.
For sure.
Okay, so right. So for you, what was the most embarrassing bullying situation that you can remember?
There's a few, but I'll pick one.
Yeah.
So this one was actually a lot of them happened in sixth grade because I kind of had like a big fallout with like a lot of friends in fifth grade because I was actually kind of friends with like a popular group. It's a whole long story, but they were using me and I kind of just figured it out and I kind of dropped them over that summer. I was like over it because they would like use me for Wi-Fi. I'm not even kidding. They were like using me for Wi-Fi. So I kind of just like one day cut them off, like ghosted them. I'm like, I'm done. Like I'm over this. So sixth grade, I kind of came in and was wanting new friends. And I was trying to chase popularity. I'm not even gonna lie, because I always kind of wanted that because I was always trying to fit in so badly. So I was like kind of blowing up this one chick's phone, not in a romantic way because I'm gay, but I was like, oh, I just want to be friends with her. But I had like no social skills, I feel like, at that time. So it was kind of cringy on my part a little bit. But when I tell you, I kind of became friends with the group. But they were like using me the whole time. Like they weren't actually like friends with me. They're like just pretending to be friends with me. And then I dated, this was before I was in the closet, or before I was out of the closet. I dated this one chick for like a week. It was like one of those middle school cringy relationships, but they were just using me. Like, so we walked to like McDonald's after school, and they were like laughing at me the whole time. They were just like kind of making fun of me. I tagged along with them, and then after the fact, like they admitted that they were just using me, and they said all this nasty stuff about me, and it just was like kind of traumatizing. I explained that really badly, but
no, you did. But also, that's one of your most embarrassing bullying moments when that happened.
Yeah, like it just was like they were like toying with me, like they were like almost just playing with, like that's what it felt like. Like it wasn't genuine, and even nowadays I still have trust issues. Like I don't believe anyone really likes me for me because of stuff like that, and I don't even think that's like like I've had other situations like that, maybe not as like extreme as that, but yeah, she like pretended to date me just to like make fun of me and also report back to her friends.
And, oh my gosh, yeah. That's harsh. You know what that gives? That gives like betrayal, and you can actually have trauma from betrayal as well. Like, but betrayal can be very traumatic for a person as well. So on top of all of that,
it just felt like I was getting toyed with, and I don't know, like they literally just became friends with me just to like, and like just
make fun of you and
like,
have something
embarrass me.
To do. Yeah, that's crazy. So, how did you handle that situation?
I remember, it kind of resolved pretty quickly. I remember, like, I was very upset. Like, I remember, like, my mom, like, I was really upset, crying to my mom. I remember that. So I did have support from my family, but I honestly don't remember, like, I'm someone who kind of gets over situations quickly. Well, maybe not like fully. Like I can move on from stuff quickly. Maybe like subconsciously I'm still dealing with it, but I don't remember how I just had to like kind of like go. I don't even remember. I'm like losing my memory of like stuff like I've gone through, but like it really was hard to like make friends after that as well. But I couldn't really trust anyone, so it was kind of a process. And I remember one of the other girls in the group as well sent some really nasty messages to me as well, like saying I looked like a dog, and I have really buck teeth, and they were worse back then, so they would make fun of my teeth as well. My mom did send those messages to the principal's office though, so but actually the principal like kind of blamed me for some reason as well. So like no one got in trouble, but like it was kind of a pointless situation. So
yeah.
Sorry if I'm like kind of not explaining it well, because my memory's like all over the place when it comes to stuff, but
like that, yeah, because a lot of times we repress it. We repress it so that we can keep moving forward. Even though we really should be processing it, but when you're a child, you don't know that. Like you don't know any better. You just know that you got to keep going. You just know that you got to keep getting up every day and going to school and doing what you have to do, listening to your parents and so on and so forth. And so it's a lot of times it's still in the back of our minds, especially if we don't take the time to really sit through that situation and figure out what was really going on with that. And, when we do that, we're able to process it and bring a new memory to the mindset of it. Like, okay, I understand I was a child at that time. I wasn't even fully in my maturity at that time. It was just, and I wasn't to blame for that because I'm in this process of learning who I am. I'm in this process of growing. And these are things that happens, when we're kids. So,
and I do kind of blame myself for some of the situations that happened because I feel like I was like really annoying sometimes. I'm like always trying to beg people to be friends. But like honestly, I really was just trying to find like a community. That's what I'm still kind of searching for that now. Like I still haven't fully found that. Like I have a little bit more of that than I used to, but I was trying to find community, and I sometimes didn't probably do it in the proper ways, but like I was treated so cruelly by some of these people, and like they never got really held accountable. I mean, in a way, like it's like karma's caught up to some of them because I've seen their Instagrams and stuff, so I'm just saying, no offense, but like yikes. So but like I feel like back then people didn't really get held accountable, but I will say my mom did kind of go off on one of the girls like on the Facebook Messenger. I think she kind of roasted the girl back, which I know is kind of crazy, but it was funny. So in some way, she did get held accountable, but
Okay, so that's good. That's good. So as a kid, you can basically say, because I was going to ask you, how did bullying affect you as a kid? And I think you've pretty much laid that down. Like it just made you crave friendship, didn't it? It just kind of made you uh like me, see me,
which is so cringy, but yeah. And I'm
at
a
least
Leo, so I have that about me a little
yeah, I
bit,
was
but
gonna
like
say
back then
that.
especially.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, at least you were trying, because me, I was just kind of like stoic. I was just like I didn't even try to have friends and stuff like that because I was just so over it. I just wanted to get through elementary school and get out of there. And I knew, like, once I was in the 12th grade, because I was bullied all the way from the 4th grade, not the 12th grade, but not 12th grade, but from the 4th grade to 7th grade. Okay, so I was bullied for 4 straight years, and I
Middle
knew
school sucks too. That's like the worst years to get bullied.
It really is. And because that's that time where you're kind of trying to formulate those friendships and know who you are and where you're headed and stuff as you go into high school. So I knew once I got to 7th grade, I was like, Lord, I don't know. I don't want to go to high school with these people. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
the boys found me cringy and the girls just thought I was a kid. So it was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do that I have to go to high school with these people, And by God's grace, because of my grades, I was able to M to a total different school where my peers were not. Yeah. Yes, that my peers were not going to be there. So that created a great change for me, even though I still, in my neighborhood, I still kind of had that reputation as the girl that everybody, picked on and everything. But at least when I got to high school, most of those people didn't know me. They didn't know
you
me
could kind of start over a little bit.
So it was kind of, but by that time I was a little bit damaged. I have to say by that time, because I was very damaged by that time. So even though I didn't realize that, like, that was my opportunity to kind of start over, I was still in this darkness inside of myself, because of what I had experienced because of that. But not only that, but because of what I was experiencing in my home life.
Yeah,
well.
that makes sense though. Like that's totally understandable, especially at that age, like in high school as well. Like it's not middle school, but you're still changing and growing. And I feel like high school, you're really starting to become an adult. Middle school, you're kind of forming an identity in a way, but high school, you're really kind of taking that identity you formed in middle school, and you're trying to like kind of acclimate it to the adult world. So it's a whole different challenge for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And so even though I didn't have to face those same people, it was like the residue of what had happened to me was still on me. So I still had insecurities about myself, and I still didn't have support, from my family and different things like that. So I still had to kind of go through the different emotional challenges dealing with that. But I was going to ask, even though I think you pretty much already said this, do you think that as a young adult, you have overcome the effects of bullying, or do you think that you're still working on healing that energy in your life?
I'm still working on healing that because I still feel like in some ways, like I'm still figuring out my identity, or not identity, but like I'm still kind of like growing and like I'm still in my early 20s. I'm turning 25 in August, which
exactly.
I feel kind of old, even though it's not that old. But like I'm having like a quarter life crisis a
You're
little
my
bit.
daughter.
But
That'll be my daughter's age. My daughter is 25.
Oh, really? What sign is she?
She is an Aries.
Oh, I'm a
Scorpio
Leo.
rising.
We'd get along.
Yeah, y'all probably would.
Yeah. But I still like have like trauma dreams about high school. Like I just have dreams about like I'm at high school, even though I moved schools as well. I did online school my last 2 years, and this was before COVID, by the way, like just before COVID. Like it was like a year I graduated before COVID. So I did online school, and actually I did way better at online school, like grade wise. My grades went up, and that's actually the time I got into spirituality, was like around that time when I was in online school. So in some ways it was very isolated, but like in some ways it was really good for me as well. There's pros and cons to it. Anyway, sorry, I forgot what I was talking about originally.
High school.
What was the question again? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Um, how are you dealing? Like, okay, the question
Oh
was,
yeah.
as a young adult, do you think you've overcome the effects of bullying, or are you still working on that? Like, still working through that?
Yeah, I'm definitely still working through it, and I think it is going to be a process. There's probably other stuff. It's part of like my personal healing journey as well, because I feel like yeah, I still have dreams about it a lot. And like I said, I have dreams where I'm at like high school and like no one comes to pick me up or whatever. So there's some meaning in that dream, but I have those dreams not as often as I used to. I used to have trauma dreams about high school like every day, but like it's only like twice a week now. So I feel like I've gotten over it a little bit more. I'm still trying to find forgiveness for some people that did me wrong, because some of these people also that bullied me bullied some of my friends as well. Like this one chick that bullied me. Actually, I was like besties with her cousin for like in fourth grade, and then we fell out or whatever. Actually, he kind of ditched me. So, but so we fell out. But like his sister was like always this like popular mean girl. She always had that persona. She's an Aries, but like an Aries in a very undeveloped type of way, like the mean girl queen bee type Aries. She's still like that to this day, actually. But yeah, I'm still like trying to find forgiveness for some people, and I'm getting better with that. Like honestly, like I don't really like having people from my high school on my Instagram, but occasionally I'll follow one of them to kind of trigger myself purposefully, because I want to kind of get past that and like heal that. Like I don't want to like hang on to that like anger forever, because I'm already angry about a ton of other stuff. I don't need to waste my time being angry about some stupid people
And
that
so
like
you
really.
think, and wait, Ethan, wait. So you think following them is gonna help you get over it? For me, I want to stay so I follow no one from my high school or my.
I mean, I
I'm
get
so
that for
sick.
sure.
Like I try to stay clear. I stay clear away from anyone from that era, like from elementary school, from high school. Like none of those people follow my page. None of them. I don't search for them. I don't look for them. I look at them like as part of my past. I look at that as I've evolved past that.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, if they see me, they see me. If they find me, they find me. But I ain't searching for them. And so because I'm so like above that now, I'm so past that now, and I don't want no reminders.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't
I
want
get that too.
yeah, I don't want no reminders of what I went through during that time. But people are different, and if you feel like that helps you, then that's what you need to do, right?
Yeah, and there's some people that will not like. There's some people that will forever be blocked, but there's some people like that chick that like used me or whatever, pretended to date me. Like I follow her and I have no issue with her. Like I don't like. I feel like she's not like that person anymore. Like I kind of just get vibe. Like some people I feel like haven't changed because I know them or I've heard stuff about them, what they've done in their later years. But there's some people that like. But some people do like. I mean, that was really nasty of her. But like, honestly, some people do evolve and change. So I try to. I want to think that about people, because honestly, otherwise, then it just is harder to kind of heal. But like, I just want to forgive people, and even if they did me dirty in the past, I don't want to like wish them negative. And and I feel like there's some like the people that took pictures of me. So a few years ago on my website, someone was like sending me like spam messages, like hate messages, and I think it was from them because I can see people's IP address on my website, and it was from my town. So I know it's someone from my town. But so there's still some people. So like people like that, I'm not gonna forgive and let back in. Like that's just kind of stupid. But like I said, if like I feel like some people genuinely do change, and I do like to give people second chances. Sometimes it's a bad idea, I will say that, but sometimes I do really. Some people really do change, and like you don't have to be besties with them. I'm not saying that, but you can not like I don't want them to have such an impact on me where like just seeing their account like triggers me. So in a way, I'm kind of thinking of it as like OCD exposure therapy. So in OCD, you're supposed to kind of expose yourself to your fears a little bit. Like for example, if you're afraid of, or like if you have some type of like fear, it could be like something like touching a toilet or something. Like in the therapy, there's like a therapy, and you're supposed to kind of touch the toilet. It's over time and such. But in some ways, I'm almost thinking of it like that approach. Like I'm kind of like open it, or like I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm
Wait,
kind of opening myself.
Okay, does it work for you? Is it working for you?
I feel
Okay,
like it
because that
does. Yeah.
okay, because that's the most important thing is if it works for you, because we need to do things and operate in our lives in ways in which we know work for us, in
For
ways
sure.
which right, and which is not causing us excess stress that we don't need to have. But I believe that you can forgive someone and still not, you don't have to have them in your life
Oh,
just
I
because
agree
you
with that
forgive.
for sure too.
Yeah. So it just depends. I mean, because you can also forgive and have, it just depends on what you choose to do. You can forgive, let that person go, or you can forgive and bring them back into your
And it
life.
kind of depends on the person too. Because like I said, I had like that one girl who bullied me. She bullied my friend really bad too, and that actually makes me even more mad than me getting bullied. So I still kind of have like a lot of anger towards her, not just for me, but for her what she did to other people I love. So that would be hard. I'm never gonna like have her on my Instagram, for example, but like I do want to work towards forgiveness.
Yeah, like forgiveness for yourself.
Yeah.
Forgiveness for things. Being able to look at that and not feel hurt and anger in regards to that.
And I know she had a rough family upbringing. Like I know that for a fact, because like I said, I was friends with her cousin, so I knew their I knew their dynamic at home. So I really do kind of empathize with her. I feel like a lot of like empathy towards her when it comes to that.
Right. I lost the thought I was going to say.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
No, that's okay, because this is for you right now. This is about you right now. But let's move on to the next question. Okay. What advice do you have for anyone out there, whether they are a child or an adult? And you can put it in two different categories if you want. You can say, okay, because some maybe a young person may come across this, because I'm going to put the title, bullying in there as well, and they may say, oh, well, this is something about what I'm going through, bullying. Yeah. And because sometimes young kids come across these videos on YouTube, even though they say
I was a young kid watching videos like that, actually. So.
Right. So put it in category if you like. What advice do you have for children who are being bullied and or people who are bullying others? And what advice do you have for adults who may be going through bullying or are bullying others?
Honestly, if you're I feel like a lot of bullying occurs on like social media nowadays, especially
nowadays,
for kids.
Right? Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I almost feel like if you're a child, I feel like you should really like. This is kind of hard when you're a kid as well, but like kind of staying off social media. I don't know if that's good advice, but I feel like social media is where a lot of that would happen. And like I feel like I was at my happiest like when I was outside and just riding my bike. And there is bullying that happens in person too. I didn't experience like neighborhood bullying as much, so maybe I don't really know that as much. But I really do think having like good boundaries with social media. I think this is just kind of overall advice, because I think social media like. Even if you're not getting bullied, there's like always just a lot of toxicity on social media. There's a lot of gossipy content in general, and that's fun. I do like to watch it myself, but it's like you just kind of need to separate yourself from all of that, because sometimes you just get too wrapped up in that. And I feel like some of that like negative content promotes or like kind of makes it easier for us to be more bold when it comes to us being bullies, because I feel like everyone can be bullies at times. I've been a bully before myself. Like I've been the bully too. I will be the first person to admit that I've been the bully too. So
I've never bullied anyone. I have to admit, I've never bullied anyone.
That's good, but yeah, I definitely use that at times. Not like I didn't do it like extremely, but like I definitely was mean to people because I was being bullied. So like I would do the same thing back, but I learned that's not effective. So if you are bullying someone back, like you're not. That doesn't necessarily mean you're a terrible person. I don't want to, but like you need to like really address what's going on within instead of just projecting it onto others, because there are so many better ways to exercise that energy in a way. Hell, even I mean, I'm not saying the other person would want you to befriend them, but like even befriending that person you're bullying would be way more worth your time than you bullying them, for example. Like I feel like sometimes people bully others because they're jealous and envious of others, and it's okay to be inspired by people, but you don't have to take it in a jealous, or like you don't have to make it or turn it into like a jealousy, envious type of energy, I guess. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
you are. You are.
For advice, also trying to find a support system, but that's not realistic a lot of the time for some people, especially younger people. but it's harder to give advice for younger people because I'm still trying to figure out like what I would tell myself. So I'm still trying to figure it. So I don't know if I really have good advice, honestly. But definitely keeping boundaries with social media as well. But social media can just it can be toxic. Like I was on social media a lot when I was younger, and there's just a lot of toxicity on there. Like I was bullied on social media. There's also predators that would prey on me on social media. So it's best when you're younger just to kind of keep things limited on social media. If anything, use social media as a productive tool instead of like or for like to learn stuff instead of like focusing on what other people are doing. And I know social media is literally about that, but there's so much good you can do on social or like learn from social media nowadays. So like trying to focus more on that's like kind of bad advice, I feel like, but also
well, I know that bullying has definitely evolved, like from when I was being bullied, because now it's just a lot of it going on online. But it still does happen in the schools as well.
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
know one thing my children told me was like, because I've talked to my kids, they're grown now, but I've talked to them about like, why didn't y'all ever tell me, that y'all ever went through bullying? And then you think about, why don't children tell someone? And I think it's so important, as an advice for children, that if you are experiencing bullying, tell someone. Do not try to figure it out on your own. Find that person. I don't care who it is, a grandmother, a cousin.
I was just gonna say that you have to you have to find a trusted person, and it could be you can kind of get creative with it. It could be a teacher even.
It's someone you can trust. I don't care. And even if the first person don't help you, keep telling somebody, because these things are serious, and the effects of bullying is very serious on a person's emotions and their mental state, even as they go into adulthood. So children, if you're watching this, tell someone what you're going through. Get that help. Okay, don't sit up there and try to figure this out by yourself or on your own. Okay, find someone, a best friend, and a older adult you can trust. Tell your teachers, tell someone, because I know they say it's a code, you ain't supposed to tell when you're getting bullied. No, tell someone. You do not.
And there's like a stigma as well about telling people. I have to spend in 5th grade. I remember I'd get called like a tattletale all the time, and I kind of was a little bit, honestly. But like in some scenarios, it was definitely necessary for me to be a tattletale because I was literally being bullied. So like, it's worth being called that on. Like I know there's a stigma around being called that and stuff, but like it's really necessary to tell an adult. And
it is.
Honestly, if an adult is not doing something about it properly, I would report that adult. Like, for example, if they're like a school teacher and they're not taking you seriously, I would go to the guidance counselor or even like a principal or something and address that too, because teachers, like, they put up with a lot and they deserve a way better pay, but they need to address that issue because that's a part of managing the classroom. And if they're not effectively doing that, can they effectively do their job in general is my thing.
Right, exactly.
And I know it's hard to keep up with a ton of kids, but like if you keep telling the teacher and they're not addressing it, you need to address that teacher as well. They're a part of the problem, I believe. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but like I wanted to. I don't know why, because I've had teachers who really actually I've had teachers bully me as well. Actually, like I've been bullied by teachers too.
There's all types of bullying out here.
But
right.
But yeah, like some teachers perpetuate bullying as well. Like I've seen teachers like that are kind of in on the dynamic almost. So they need, like, if that's happening too, you need to definitely go to like the guidance counselor or the principal, even vice principal, probably.
Do not sit up there. Listen, do not take bullying. You don't have to take it. And another thing that I think is something essential to tell someone who's a child who may be going through bullying, you're not alone and you will get through it.
For sure. Yeah.
And even though you may have to go through a healing process for yourself to get through it, it won't be like this forever. It won't always be like this. And you as a child has a power within you as well, to where you can call on that higher power to help you in any and every situation. Like I always tell my 8-year-old that just because you're 8, God still hears you. The higher power still hears you even when you're 8. And
I
I
can't
wish I
believe
would
she's
have
8 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
That had me shook for a second.
Right.
Sorry, I had to say that.
That's how long we've been connected, Ethan.
I know. I remember when she was so young.
Yes, when she was so little. And I always tell her, whenever you're going through something, I don't care whenever something feels like it's hard for you, because it can be hard for some kids out here. Call on the name of Jesus. That's just, my belief system and everything. I tell you, you can call on that higher power. You can call on the name of Jesus for help at any age.
For sure.
And
for sure.
Yeah, and God will hear you. God will help you. And I want someone who may be bullying a child to know that you are special, that you matter. And just because you're getting bullied does not mean you're less of a person. The reason why you're being bullied is because you're a unique individual with a prosperous future ahead of you.
For sure.
You are right. You are a person that is needed in this world. And there is a source, there is an energy that is trying to hold you back. Don't let it happen. Tell someone and know who you are. Know who you are. You are that special individual. And that's why they're picking on you. That's why they're coming after you. That's why they're trying to hurt you, because they're trying to stop you from your prosperous future. You are someone.
I've noticed. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can finish.
Go ahead. No, you are someone who is needed in this world, and that source is trying to stop you. Just know you are special. You are needed. You are loved. Okay, go ahead, Ethan.
I've noticed a lot of younger bullies, like when it comes to childhood bullying, a lot of the bullies, I feel like they struggle with like self-identity as well, because they always just want to fit in. And I've kind of been there as well, but like they just want to fit in always, and they have this certain perception of what's cool and what's not, and they just want to project that onto everyone. And it's like not everyone thinks like you. It's like this. It's like this very controlling way of thinking in a way. I don't know how to explain it.
It is. No, you're right, because oh my gosh, that's what I was thinking about earlier. Because I was thinking about, like, why was she so adamant about trying to tear me down? She was better than me, apparently. She had her hair done every week. She had the latest clothes all the time, the latest name brand shoes. So why was I such a object for her, even though she apparently had it all together? She obviously wanted me to conform to her way of being. Like, when she would see me, she would think, oh, that's not how we're supposed to be. You're supposed to be like me. You're supposed to have it all like me, And so I feel like she felt like if she tears me down, then and tear me apart from head to toe, that I would start to think, oh, I guess I'm supposed to look like her. I guess I'm supposed to dress like her, act like her. But no, that didn't happen. Okay, so your attempts were futile. Okay,
for sure.
Okay, bullies. All right, because a lot of times when someone survives bullying, they come out way on top. Okay, and that person who's the bully ends up way on the bottom. So bullies out there, just heads up, stop. Okay, heads up, stop bullying.
Yeah, and I want to say to people that are bullies, I guess, like, you can change that around, and I know it's hard to change as a person, but like you can definitely like I don't know. I've seen some people who I thought were like lost causes before change their lives around, not just for that, just like for other issues in general. So you don't have to continue the cycle. It's a lot of ways it's a cycle of abuse. It's either it starts at home, or maybe they're being bullied as well in other facets of their life. So it's just a cycle of abuse, and you don't have to continue that. And even if you were a bully at one point, you don't have to be that forever, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, that's a good point, Ethan. That's why I wanted to mention that, because bullies, y'all don't have to do that. Like, y'all are really wasting your time, and not only are you wasting your time, but that's going to end up coming back on you at some point. For sure. Yeah, so and it's never too late to change. Anyone can change, and You can start from right where you are to begin to change your mindset and your mentality, because I know there were a lot of good people, but in my elementary school, but a lot of times when they see that there's someone who's being targeted and bullied, they want to kind of stay away from that person because they don't want it to jump on them, like, ooh, she's just getting bullied a lot, I better stay away from her because I don't want that on me. So I was alone a lot. And even though there were a lot of people who didn't bully me there, at the same time, it's very possible for a bully to change. Okay, very possible. And even if you're being bullied, just know you are someone who's special, and that's why you're being bullied. Just remember that you
For
are
sure.
special.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you stick out to them, and like they just like
Yes.
can't get you off their mind, and it's like you live rent free in their head, and I'm just like, are you in love with me or something? Like, just leave me alone. But yeah, bullying, it's just like such a toxic. This bullying just leads into other stuff. Like I feel like bullying is like kind of the start of like greed and that type of stuff later in life. Like it gets deeper. Like I feel like if you are unapologetically a bully, you're more likely to like just be more of a greedy person in life and not wanting to help and give back. So it's something you want to like work past as soon as possible. If you are bullying, once you get aware of the dynamic, you definitely want to work on it, like start as soon as possible, because you don't want that to turn into a darker life. Like, I mean, you may be successful in life, but like I feel like I said, those type of people, nothing is good enough for them, and they turn into like money addicts and just greedy people. And so bullying can snowball. I don't know why I wanted to say that, but like that just came to me, and I'm like,
you're right. You're right. It can, because children who are bullies, if they don't change somehow, they become very toxic adults. They really do. And that's what leads to a lot of the violence that is out here. That's what leads to all of these terrible things that happen to people out here. And I had a thought and I lost it. But one thing about it, okay, that's what I was gonna say. Adults, how it can still, like, when you've been bullied as a child, if there are certain things you haven't dealt with in regards to that, it can follow you into adulthood. And you will find that adults will sort of mirror and kind of mimic certain things that you went through as a child when you were bullied. Now, I've experienced some of that myself as an adult, and I was able to recognize it and say, okay, I'm being tested in this moment because this is an affect of what I went through as a child when I was bullied. And how I learned how to overcome that is whenever I go through something like that, I just smile. And I keep I keep my head up high. Yeah, I just smile. And then I keep my head up. And then I make a mental note to myself. I say, okay, I see what the enemy is doing, but what I'm going to do is the next time this person sees me, they're going to see me with my head so high. The next time this person sees me, they're going to see me looking so gorgeous, so beautiful, and still doing this.
And they can post that picture on Instagram.
Smiling. Okay? Smiling. And one thing I love to do how to combat those energies of being bullied is you have to say your I ams. You have to say your I ams daily. You have to, you have to feed yourself.
It's reprogramming yourself.
There you go. There you go.
Because these people, even if you don't think they are affecting you, they're definitely subconsciously like affecting you for sure.
Right, right. And so you have to, and that's something that as kids you don't know to do. You know, I could tell a child, well, go home and tell yourself you are you
They'll
are
just be like,
amazing.
what?
I am
I just wanna go on
gorgeous.
the
I am
iPad right
beautiful. I am all of that, you know. But 9 times out of 10, the kid is not going to do that. Now, if you're some special type of kid out there, and you know, I can't tell you that you combat that by telling yourself everything that's wonderful about yourself, everything that's beautiful about yourself. That's how you combat the negative words and energies that people try to place inside of you. You have to reprogram your mind.
Also, if you're a kid who's being bullied, doing some type of activity that you like and are good at is essential as well, because that will build up your self-esteem even more as well. And like I just feel like even building up what you're good at will make the bullies more mad, but like you're just showing that their negativity isn't going to stop you, is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. So you just got to keep pushing. You got to keep going, because as you can see from me and Ethan, we survived and we made it. So that is the epitome of this too shall pass. So no matter what you're going through or what you've been through in your past, no matter what has happened to you, you can still overcome it, even into your adulthood. Okay, so I think that concludes our live for this moment.
That was such a good conversation. I feel like this conversation was healing for me in some ways.
Ethan, that's what I was hoping for. That's what I was hoping for.
I feel like more people need to discuss this topic, especially like with cyberbullying now. That's like a whole nother beast.
Yes, because
we could do a whole nother live about that.
We really could, because that has evolved now, and I didn't have to go through that as a child. Thank God, because that is just like one of the worst kinds.
I was kind of at the start of like when it first started. So I was born in 2000, so I was kind of at the start of it, and so a lot of people didn't know much about it back then. So actually, it was kind of the wild west a little bit when it came to that. So they were just starting to like make PSAs about cyberbullying. But actually, I had a group in 6th grade on Facebook, like an anti-cyberbullying group, and my bullies bullied me about having that group. So that's hilarious. So
you should have kept that going. You should have went harder because of that. You don't have that anymore. You don't have that.
No, but I might start a new one now. I would love to.
Yeah, you should, because I think people need that. They need that. But that's what it is, because it's so hard, out here with the cyberbullying, because it's like that stuff never really goes away. Like that stuff
it's
like
just constant.
Yeah, so it's that. Yeah, that's awful. But we've had a great discussion, you guys, and I'm so glad that Ethan has joined me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, love.
Yeah, okay, you have to come on my channel sometime.
Yes, invite me, please. I would love to.
I need to soon.
Okay, so let me know. You know how to reach me anytime, okay? And thank you guys for tuning in. Okay, and I'm going to put Ethan's information in the description box as well, in case you guys want to go and support him in his.
If you're in the Milwaukee area, I'm doing my first tarot event on Thursday night. So this Thursday night. So go to my website for details under the event page. I have like an event page on there.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna contact you so you can give me everything that I need for what you want me to put for you in the description box to reach you. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, y'all. Have a good night. This has been a great conversation. See y'all next time.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.